There was a night when I thought I saw everything clearly. The city lights, the stars above, the faces I loved, even my own reflection in the mirror. But then God turned off the light. In that sudden stillness, the silence grew louder than sound. I could hear my thoughts stumbling, and I realized something terrifying. I had spent my whole life seeing, but never truly understanding. I could recognize shapes, but not meanings. I could describe blessings, but not perceive their depth. I thought vision was about sight, but God was about to teach me that seeing is never just with the eyes, it is with the soul. When the light went out, I panicked, but in the darkness, I met a new kind of truth. That blindness is not the absence of sight, but the arrogance of assuming we already see. And when He finally touched my eyes, I didn't see a new world. I saw the same world, but through His light. And that changed everything. Because true wisdom doesn't come from learning more, but from being made able to see what the world cannot. Part 1, the world's sight. Seeing without understanding. The world teaches us to see, but not to understand. From the moment we open our eyes, we are trained to observe, to identify, to compare, but rarely to pause, to feel, to discern. We scroll, we glance, we react. We live with eyes wide open but hearts half asleep. We confuse recognition with revelation. We mistake movement for meaning. And in doing so, we live surrounded by light, but remain blind to truth. The world rewards those who appear confident, not those who are truly clear. It celebrates sight, but forgets vision. It tells us that to see is to know is to control, and to control is to win. So we chase what glitters and call it gold. We follow trends and call them truth. We build kingdoms of image, but lose the depth of soul. That is why so many people look alive, yet walk like ghosts. Their eyes sparkle, but their spirits flicker dimly inside. We have learned to stare at screens, but forgotten how to look into hearts. We can zoom in on galaxies through telescopes, yet fail to notice the tears of our neighbor. God sees differently. He does not measure success by the size of your house or beauty by the curve of your smile. He looks at the heart, that sacred, unseen territory where light and shadow wrestle for the throne. And when you live by sight alone, you stop recognizing that battlefield. You begin to call survival peace and emptiness freedom. The danger of the world's sight is not that it shows us too little, but that it convinces us we already see enough. That illusion is deadly, because the moment you believe you see all, you stop looking for God in the places you think you understand. We live in a world obsessed with clarity. We want every answer defined, every mystery solved, every path lit. But clarity can become a cage. It traps you inside what is explainable and robs you of wonder. God's kind of seeing begins where human sight gives up. When logic ends, faith begins to see. When the eye grows tired, the spirit awakens perception. That is why the blind man in John 9 could see Jesus more clearly than the Pharisees who studied light for a living. Because God hides revelation not from the weak, but from the proud. You can have perfect eyesight and still be blind to eternity. Because eyes without humility will never recognize holiness. Every day, heaven tries to speak through creation, through a sunrise, through a child's laughter, through the mercy that met you again this morning. But the world's sight scrolls past it all. It sees, but it does not understand. The truth is, you don't really see with your eyes. You see with what you love. If your love is shallow, your vision will always stay surface deep. But when your love is aligned with God's heart, your sight becomes sacred. So maybe it's not your eyes that need healing. Maybe it's your affections. Because the heart that truly loves God will always find Him, even in the places the world refuses to look. Part 2, the breaking of the eyes. Before God gives new sight, He often has to break the old one. No one prays for that kind of breaking. It feels cruel, it feels unnecessary, but only when the familiar shatters can the eternal begin to shine through. The breaking of the eyes is not a punishment, it's an invitation, an unmaking that leads to remaking. And though your tears blur everything, they also begin to wash the dust of false vision away. Sometimes God blinds you with loss to heal you with perspective. He takes away what you thought you needed to show you what you truly lacked. And in that sacred confusion, you discover that blindness was never your enemy. Self-reliance was. When you can no longer predict your path, you start to depend on His presence. When your sight fails, your hearing sharpens. You begin to live by His voice instead of your assumptions. That's why the night seasons of life matter. It's in the dark that God teaches you how to feel light again. He doesn't rush to restore what's been broken. He lets you sit among the pieces so you can learn what needed to break in the first place. The world says, don't lose focus. But heaven whispers, lose what blinds you. Because not everything that shines is light, and not everything that hurts is harm. When Jesus met the blind man, He didn't heal him from a distance. He knelt down, spat into the dust, and made clay with His hands. Then He spread that holy mud over eyes that had never seen. The Creator using creation to awaken sight again. It was messy, it was humbling, but in that dirt, divinity touched humanity. That's what happens when God breaks your eyes. He puts His fingerprints where pride once lived. He covers your confidence with clay and teaches you to see again through surrender. The breaking is not random, it's precise. God never destroys without rebuilding. He knows which illusions must fall for faith to rise. You'll know He's at work when things you depended on start to lose their meaning. The titles, the plans, the people, suddenly they don't fit anymore. And you realize that He's not just changing your view, He's changing your values. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." But before that light came, there was darkness. And God was still there, hovering over the chaos. Maybe that's where you are now, in the dark, in the breaking, wondering if you'll ever see clearly again. But take heart. The breaking is not the end of sight. It's the beginning of revelation. Because God doesn't break to destroy, He breaks to redefine. He breaks what you think you see to help you recognize who He truly is. And once your eyes have been broken by His hands, you'll never look at the world the same way again. Part 3, the touch of light. When God finally opens your eyes, it doesn't happen all at once. It's not an explosion of light. It's a whisper of dawn, slow, gentle, holy. You wake up one morning and nothing around you has changed. But somehow everything feels different. The same air feels alive. The same silence feels full. The same pain no longer owns you. That's how grace begins. Not with noise, but with notice. The Spirit doesn't shout His arrival. He simply turns what was ordinary into revelation. One moment, you see darkness. The next, you start to see meaning in it. Not because the darkness left, but because light entered differently. Light is not the absence of pain. It's the presence of understanding. And when the first beam of divine light touches your soul, you don't see a new world. You see the same world, but illuminated by love. The light does not change your circumstances. It changes you. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin to whisper, "What is God showing me through this?" Every color looks different in His light. Fear fades into surrender. Loss transforms into wisdom. Even waiting becomes worship. That's when you realize the miracle was never that you could see again. The miracle was that you could finally see Him. The blind man in John 9 didn't just regain sight, he gained relationship. He looked into the face of the one who formed the light itself and saw not just vision, but purpose. The first image his eyes ever captured was the face of his Maker. Maybe that's why God sometimes delays our seeing, because He wants the first thing we see to be Him. When divine light touches your life, you begin to see grace hiding in plain sight. You see mercy in the timing of things you once resented. You see redemption in the cracks of your failures. You even start to see beauty in scars, because they prove that healing happened. The touch of light teaches you to trust again. You stop running from shadows and start following the glow. You stop begging for signs and start noticing His fingerprints. Even silence begins to speak. It says, "I am still here." It says, "Keep looking." And when that light grows inside you, you become a reflection yourself. Others start to see God through your gentleness, through your peace, through the way you no longer need to win, only to love. That's how you know your sight is healed. When you no longer crave clarity, only connection. When you stop asking for light outside you and realize the light now lives within. And in that sacred glow, you finally see that God never left. He was there, waiting for the moment you stop staring into the dark and start recognizing His hand holding yours the whole time. Part 4, Seeing Through the Spirit. There is a kind of vision that no book can teach, no mirror can reveal, no logic can hold. It is the sight of the Spirit, born not from the mind, but from communion. When you begin to see through the Spirit, you don't see with effort, you see with awareness. The world doesn't become less complicated, but your heart becomes less afraid. You stop trying to figure out God and start to recognize Him. To see through the Spirit is not to escape reality. It is to perceive God within it. You begin to notice His movements in the smallest rhythms, a whisper that steadies you in the noise, a delay that protects you from rushing into harm, a disappointment that secretly shapes your humility. The Spirit's vision is not sight that avoids pain, but sight that finds purpose inside it. The Spirit doesn't give you clearer answers. He gives you deeper peace. You start to see how heaven and earth are not separate worlds, but overlapping realities. Heaven is not up there, it is right here, breaking through every moment that love chooses to stay. You stop labeling moments as good or bad. Instead, you start asking, what is God revealing in this? Even silence begins to speak. Even waiting becomes a holy classroom. Even confusion carries wisdom when seen through the Spirit. To walk by the Spirit is to trade your explanations for expectation. You stop demanding to know what's next and start trusting who is already here. You see not with certainty, but with trust, and that is enough. The Spirit trains your eyes through contrast. He lets you walk through storms so you can learn to recognize peace. He lets you feel weakness so you can finally see grace. He allows hiddenness so you can understand intimacy. Every season that breaks you is also building you. Because the Spirit doesn't just show you truth, He shapes you into it. There's a strange calm that comes when your eyes become spiritual. You stop panicking when things fall apart. You begin to say, if this is breaking, maybe God is bending it towards something better. You look at people differently too. You stop reacting to what they do and start discerning what they need. You begin to love beyond logic, and that is when your eyes start resembling His. The Spirit's sight is not a momentary flash. It's a slow awakening, a gradual tuning of your soul to heaven's frequency. You become less reactive, more reflective, less afraid to wait, more willing to listen. When the Spirit teaches you to see, the world doesn't get easier. It becomes eternal. You start to sense that every moment, every breath, every ache is part of a larger conversation between heaven and you. And once you've seen through the Spirit, you can never go back to seeing through the world again, because sight born of surrender cannot unlearn its freedom. You will still walk through valleys, but you'll notice the lilies now. You'll still face storms, but you'll hear songs in the thunder. You'll still meet sorrow, but you'll see Jesus weeping beside you. That is the miracle of seeing through the Spirit. You no longer need to understand everything because you finally understand that God is in everything. Part 5. Living with Heaven's Vision. Heaven's vision was never meant to stay in heaven. It was meant to walk the earth through you. When God changes your sight, He's not giving you a new pair of eyes. He's giving you a new way to live. You begin to walk differently. You pause more. You listen longer. You love slower and deeper. Because vision that comes from God changes the rhythm of your soul. To live with Heaven's vision is to stop searching for proof and start noticing presence. It's to wake up each morning and whisper, I don't know what today holds, but I know who holds it. You see Him in the ordinary, in laughter shared between strangers, in the patience of a mother, in the kindness of someone who expects nothing in return. Heaven's vision makes you aware that God is not just in church, He's in moments. He's in pauses. He's in the spaces between words where grace hides quietly. When you live with Heaven's vision, you stop seeing people as interruptions and start seeing them as invitations. You realize that every conversation might be an appointment written in eternity. Every face might be a reflection of His image. You start forgiving faster, not because the pain disappeared, but because your perspective changed. You stop waiting for people to deserve love and start giving it because He did. Living with Heaven's vision means learning to live slow, to breathe before reacting, to bless before judging, to see beauty before it blooms. Because Heaven's rhythm is never rushed. It's rooted. It doesn't hurry, it holds. And slowly, your whole life becomes a form of worship. You cook, you work, you drive, you rest. And each act becomes an altar. Because the one who sees through Heaven's eyes no longer separates sacred from simple. All of it belongs to God. You stop measuring life by milestones and start cherishing moments. You stop chasing outcomes and start embracing obedience. You begin to live as if the unseen is more real than the visible, because it is. Heaven's vision transforms your responses. You no longer react to circumstances. You respond to calling. You stop fighting for control and start flowing with grace. You realize that faith isn't about seeing what's next, but trusting who's already there. And when the world looks dark again, you no longer panic. You remember with the same God who lit your way once is still guiding your steps now. Heaven's vision is not escapism. It is engagement. It is choosing to see God's fingerprints in every broken piece of the world and daring to believe that His story is still being written through you. When you live that way, you become part of the light itself. You walk into rooms carrying calm. You speak with kindness that disarms. You look at people and they feel seen. Because Heaven's sight isn't about seeing more, it's about seeing differently. And when you see differently, you live differently. And when you live differently, you begin to love like Him. And that is when the world starts to look a little more like home. Sight was never the goal. Understanding was. When God opens your eyes, He doesn't give you a new view of the world. He gives you a new way to see everything. You start to realize that vision was never just about clarity, but about connection. It's about recognizing His hand in every frame, His presence in every pause. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every shadow becomes a teacher. Every sunrise whispers, I was here all along. The true gift of sight is not perfect perception. It's peaceful awareness. It's knowing that even when the path is dark, the light has not left you. It's realizing that every unanswered question is simply an invitation to trust deeper. You see, revelation was never about information. It was about relationship. God didn't open your eyes so you could analyze the world. He opened them so you could recognize His love in it. And once you've seen with His eyes, you can't go back. You can't unsee mercy. You can't unknow grace. You can't unfeel love. Because sight that has touched heaven will never again be satisfied with shadows. So walk in that light. Live with that awareness. Let your eyes become a mirror that reflects the goodness of the one who gave them sight. You don't have to see everything clearly to walk faithfully. You just have to see him, and that is enough. For in the end, sight is not something you possess. It is someone you've met, and his name is Jesus.